Thank you for joining me for this edition of TopPodcastingShop.com. You can email us your questions at questions@toppodcastingshop.com or check us out online at toppodcastingshop.com. Today's tutorial is titled The Need for Domain Pointing and is tutorial 103 in our audio broadcast library. You have done it all. You're SEO ready, you have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, etc. However, your website, podcast, or blog is still not measuring up to par. What now? First and foremost, you're doing the right thing by coming here to toppodcastingshop.com. Next, you've left an important feature out of this equation, and that's the need for domain pointing and/or a subdomain directory. First, what is domain pointing? Domain pointing is when an individual, when purchasing a domain name, chooses to purchase several other domains related to the original domain name to use to point to a main website. Confusing? It might be. For instance, let's use an example. If you choose to purchase the domain name spankthemonkey.com, you may soon realize that although you're receiving some traffic, you're losing some to those people who may either misspell your name, your domain name, or people who may not trust a domain such as spankthemonkey.com, but they may trust a website called saintmonkey.com or stmonkey.com. Remember, for every one person that may trust your domain name, there are possibly 10 more people who wouldn't trust it. So it's all about personal preference. So when choosing a domain name, glance over the suggested domains to purchase in addition to your preferred domain name. Because if you don't purchase it now, somebody may purchase those suggested domains in the future once your website is successful. And once they purchase those domains, they may rob you of the associated traffic. Imagine a huge website like Walmart.com and imagine the guy that purchased Walmart.com or WALMRT.com. Can you imagine how many people misspell the name Walmart? That guy's probably grinning and laughing his way to the bank. Also, you might want to purchase additional subdomains because somebody might purchase something related to your domain and quite literally copy all your website content, thus running you out of business while they're also laughing their way to the Google bank. For instance, let's look back. Your website might be spankthemonkey.com, but another website may park right beside your website with a little bit of a tweaked domain name, and they may be gleaning the traffic that would normally be coming to your site. Look into age domains. Age domains are just simply websites that have been around for an extended period of time. Look for domains that are aged and that also relate to what you're doing to point to your website. Oftentimes, many people have 4 to 5 individual domains pointing to just one of their websites. So when setting up a website to go with your podcast, purchase multiple domains that may be associated with your product or service. Another example would be if you're starting a podcast called yourname.com, then purchase domains similar to your name to point to your website or podcast. If your name is Ben Larkenstein, Larkenstein is a hard word to spell, so purchase in addition to benlarkenstein.com, also purchase benlarkstein.com or benlarkstein.com. benlarkv.com. There's so many different variations, or purchase something similar to that because you're anticipating that 95% of your expected traffic are likely to misspell your domain name, which is a correct assumption. Purchase as many domains as you like to bring in traffic. Never assume those interested in your product or service know you. Remember back in high school you had that teacher, despite coming to her class every day and being her number one student, she still had a hard time spelling your name right and an even harder time pronouncing it properly. Also, visit websites that sell domains and purchase them to point to your main page. For instance, Ben Larkenstein may be a blog, podcast, or website that focuses on political news, but many people may not feel inclined to visit a website with this name, but they may be inclined to visit a website called thepoliticalcapital.com. And if this domain or anything like it goes up for sale, purchase it now. You will find it funny that by simply purchasing multiple domains to point to your website, you can boost your website traffic, sales, and exposure, thus turning a problem into an opportunity. For more information about domain pointing, visit our website at www.toppodcastingshop.com. Until next time, happy podcasting.